Hey guys, welcome to the Max Invest YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing where the Ether token actually gets its fundamental value from and why it's one of the most fundamentally strong tokens out there. After that, I'm going to be talking about the new partnership that just happened. One of the biggest banks in Switzerland is now using the Ethereum network, and this is absolutely massive news. After that, I'm going to then be talking about Vitalik Buterin's recent post, which I'm sure you'll find interesting. Anyway, if you enjoy the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter and join the Discord, the links are down below, and remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. The first thing that I'm going to be talking about is where Ether actually gets its fundamental value from. Now, in my opinion, Ether is one of the assets that has the most fundamental value. If we look at things like stocks, the main reason that stocks have value is because the company will eventually pay out dividends. However, this only gives one small reason for individuals to actually hold the stock. If we look at something like Ether, there's tons and tons of reasons for individuals to hold Ether, and as a direct result, Ether has a lot more fundamental value in my opinion. So let's look at some of these reasons. Now, the first way in which Ether gets fundamental value is from daily fees. As you can see, yesterday Ethereum did about $29 million in fees, and the 7-day average is about $42 million. Now, essentially, whenever an individual wants to execute a smart contract on the Ethereum network, they must pay a gas fee. They need to pay Ether as a gas fee. So, if you want to interact with Aave or a decentralized application, you do need to pay a fee. Of course, this does mean that you actually need to buy Ether in order to pay that fee, which adds more and more value to Ether over time. Of course, the more people that use the Ethereum network, the more companies that come on board, and everyone's using the Ethereum network, well, we're going to eventually see billions of dollars in fees being paid to the Ethereum network. So, in my opinion, this is a very strong value proposition, and it only grows and improves as more and more people come onto the network, which is very important. Now, the next big value proposition for the asset Ether is that it is used as trustless collateral on the Ethereum network. Essentially, the Ethereum network only natively issues one token, and the one token that the Ethereum network natively issues is Ether. As a direct result, we know that this token is the easiest to use on the Ethereum network because we pay gas fees with it. We also know that this token is the most decentralized on the Ethereum network. Therefore, the majority of people, when they're using decentralized finance applications, will use Ethereum as trustless collateral. Essentially, whenever something needs to be used as collateral, Ethereum is the most common option. And the reason for this is because it's issued directly by the protocol. Therefore, this gives a direct incentive to hold Ethereum, and as a direct result, it makes Ether a fundamentally strong asset on the Ethereum network. Of course, as the Ethereum network grows and there's more and more users, well, more and more Ether will need to be bought. Right now, Ethereum has about $100 billion locked in decentralized finance, and when we see this number hitting $1 trillion, well, more Ether is going to be locked up into this pool. The next big way that Ether gets a lot of value is from staking your Ether. Essentially, whenever you stake your Ether, you're locking up your own funds in order to secure the network. As a reward for doing that, you're paid out in Ether. The interest rate for doing this is roughly 5%. Therefore, this means that a lot of individuals are going to want to lock up their Ether, take their Ether off the market and start staking it independent of the price to help secure the network and to get an interest rate off that. Of course, this adds a lot more fundamental value to the Ethereum network. David Hoffman from Bankless put it very well. He considers Ethereum a triple point asset, and this is because it gets value from gas fees, it gets value from staking, and it gets value from trustless collateral in decentralized finance. Of course, the more people that jump onto the Ethereum network, the more the Ethereum network grows, the more these value propositions are going to be used, and the more fundamentally value Ethereum is going to be. Now, the first big bit of news that I wanted to talk about is one of the biggest companies in Switzerland is integrating with Ethereum. So, as we can see, Credit Suisse integrates security tokens on Ethereum. So this is very big, and it's showing some of the biggest banks in the world are actually beginning to adopt Ethereum, which is absolutely great. So let's take a look at what exactly Credit Suisse are doing with the Ethereum network. And I have predicted that almost every single bank is going to be doing this eventually. Essentially, what Credit Suisse have said that they are going to be doing is they are going to be tokenizing securities on the Ethereum network. Essentially, Credit Suisse are going to begin tokenizing their stocks and putting these stocks on the Ethereum network. So this is essentially taking real-world assets and putting these real-world assets on chain. Of course, the benefits of doing this is they're putting it on a secure, public and immutable ledger. Also, Credit Suisse have said that it's quite difficult due to regulatory reasons to actually use securities, and as a result of putting these securities on chain, it actually makes it a lot easier. So, as we can see, what Credit Suisse will be doing is if you have your Apple stock or your Amazon stock, essentially what they'll be doing is tokenizing this stock and putting it on chain. This will therefore make it a lot easier for Credit Suisse to transfer these stocks around, to use these securities, to give them to their customers, and it makes all of these securities publicly stored and publicly verifiable, so nothing can ever go wrong. Of course, this is an absolutely massive development for Credit Suisse. However, they basically have said that they're not going to stop there. They said that they're going to make private assets digital, and I do think that they mean they'll eventually make all private assets digital. This means that I do believe that Credit Suisse will eventually start tokenizing gold, tokenizing real estate, and putting all of these things on chain, as it will make it a lot easier for the bank to use. Now, a couple of months back, I did say that I believe that Ethereum will probably be the biggest asset and the biggest network in the entire world, and I do believe that the Ethereum network will eventually be bigger than the stock market and the real estate market. Now, the reason that I actually predicted this is because I predicted that the entire stock market and the entire real estate market will eventually come onto the Ethereum network. And Credit Suisse, one of the biggest banks in Switzerland, is making their first step in doing this. They're starting to bring the stock market on top of the Ethereum network, which will add a lot more value to the Ethereum network. So, this is overall unbelievably bullish, and it's happening even quicker than I expected. I expected most of this stuff to begin happening in the next 10 years, however it already seems to be going in full force in the next year or so, which is absolutely massive for the Ethereum network. The last thing that I wanted to quickly point out is a lot of people in the Bitcoin community say, hey, most companies haven't put Ethereum on their balance sheet. A lot of these companies are not actually buying Ethereum and holding it on their balance sheet. However, I would argue that this does not give Ethereum that much fundamental value. I'm not looking for Ethereum to be held on the balance sheet of some big company. Instead, I want that company to be actually using Ethereum for its utility. And if we actually look, there's a couple of companies that have Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Probably about 5 massive companies that I can name off the top of my head have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. However, if I look at how many companies are using Ethereum, it's a lot more than 5. I can name some of the biggest companies in the world, such as Visa, Credit Suisse, and more, and all of these big companies are actually using the Ethereum network. Even things like TikTok and Reddit are also using the Ethereum network. Marsh Global, one of the biggest insurance companies in the world, is using it, and the list does seem to go on. So when I actually look at Ethereum's fundamental value, I want to see companies actually using it and not companies adding the currency to its balance sheet. Now, the final thing that I briefly wanted to discuss today is Vitalik Buterin did a bit of a Reddit post. Vitalik Buterin essentially said that El Salvador's move to adopt Bitcoin should not be praised by the crypto community. Now, he gave a couple of reasons for this. The first reason for this is the president of El Salvador is essentially a Bitcoin maximalist and a dictator. As a direct result, the president of El Salvador was very easily able to pass this law through without that much opposition. Of course, the president of El Salvador has actually had the military come into parliament and the military sit in while they're actually passing bills, and it is very clear that this president is a dictator. Now, we also do know he's a Bitcoin maximalist, so this law actually does make a lot of sense. Now, the problem with this law is essentially that this law forces businesses to adopt Bitcoin. A business cannot refuse to accept Bitcoin, and every single business in El Salvador must accommodate. So, What this is essentially doing is this is forcing businesses to adopt Bitcoin, and Vitalik Buterin has said that this isn't in the spirit of crypto. We shouldn't be forcing the adoption of these currencies. Instead, people should be choosing to use them and choosing to buy things with them. Now, that's essentially what Vitalik Buterin said about El Salvador, and I do more or less agree. And you may think that I'm just agreeing because I've seen what Vitalik Buterin has said. However, if you look at some of my videos from a couple of months back, I was saying the exact same thing. Essentially, what I was saying is I was saying that this law was wildly unpopular and it's really being forced through. Of course, I don't think that this actually adds too much value to the Bitcoin network. I really do think the main way Bitcoin can become a currency is if people choose to use it. Businesses need to choose to accept it and people need to choose to use it. And right now, people are not choosing to use Bitcoin as a currency. They're just simply not. Most people buy Bitcoin and hold it and use their dollars as a currency. And unfortunately for a lot of Bitcoiners, I think it will stay this way. I do believe that Bitcoin's only value proposition is a digital store of value and not a currency. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching the video.